Welcome to Mark Bajerski YouTube channel. Welcome to a beautiful day here in the Pure Energy Healing Academy. Today we're going to talk about a topic that I have talked about over the years, but maybe we can go a little bit deeper into the understanding and into our understanding and our resistance and sometimes our, I guess, jumping in too deep sometimes. The topic is about Kundalini, the energy. What I know as a healer over these years of Kundalini is an energy that flows through the body. It's a natural energy. It's powerful in many ways, and it can awaken your whole body. Imagine a flower being asleep at night and then it opens up. That's kind of like Kundalini. It awakens so much within the spacesuit that we have. One of the things that I used to talk about when I gave talks on Kundalini energy or energies, one of the things that I used to say predominantly was most of us in general are the kind of energy now that we want to take away spirituality. We want to take away health. We want to take away huge bodies. Basically what it means is that we don't want to go through any kind of process to understand it. We just want a pill. Just give me a tablet, let me take it, and I want to be big, I want to be spiritual, I want to be enlightened. And life really doesn't work that way at all. And in fact, when you do things like that, it can be dangerous. And I don't like to use the word dangerous in any kind of spiritual talk, because it is what it is, and dangerous is just another fear-based energy. But it can be challenging when you go from an energy of, let's say, stability, of walking a path of humanity, seeing, feeling, but none of the senses really fully functioning, to jumping up to the level of nirvana, to such a powerful level that it's unbelievable. Now, some people talk about certain drugs that you can use, from toads to snakes to plants, ayahuasca, and all the other things that people are using now. And they get this download or understanding of stuff. And sometimes it can be so overwhelming, too much, that it can cause great effect to them in not so positive way, and it can affect them in a really deeply way, both ways, yin and yang. It can affect you very positive apparently, or very negative, definitely apparently, because I have seen that. It's apparent, and I have tried to help people get through that 6 weeks to 3 months sometimes of clearing that pain and that suffering and that shock energy of what's happened to them. So basically what I'm saying is, the first thing we have to be aware of when we're trying to achieve Kundalini, or to try and awaken the Kundalini within us, is that we're ready for it. So I guess most people don't want to practice yoga at the beginning. They just want to get to the stage of huge enlightenment and power. They don't want to climb the mountain, they just want to be taken to the top by helicopter. So yeah, the steps 1 to 12, people kind of want to just jump to 12, the 12 stages of enlightenment, I guess. And that's something that I've witnessed over the years of quite a few people. However, that said, I think yoga teachers are also to blame as well. Some of them, not all of them, some great yoga teachers who know exactly how to take you step by step through the practice of yoga and achieving enlightenment and health and well-being. So it depends where you go and who you're being trained by. But I'll give you for instance, I've got so many. But I'll give you one for instance. A really dear friend of mine, I'm not going to use her first name, but she's a really dear friend of mine. I first met her when I first started this field of work, maybe about 2 years into to doing the healing and spiritual work. And she came to me as a client, and it soon became evident that something had awoken within her, the Kundalini energy, and she really wasn't ready for it. After a few months, she opened up and explained that she went for a Kundalini yoga, and something happened, and she explained to me that she was sectioned by her parents, and that means that she was put into a psychiatric place to be evaluated and checked, and probably medicated up to the eyeballs because they had no idea what they were dealing with. And that happens a lot of the time. Most people get medicated up to the eyeballs. So she was going through that process where, of course, it never works, and then they wean you off that. Or your parents do, or somebody like me says, well, if that's not working, why do you keep taking it? So she kind of stopped taking it, and then we started working towards building her up with healing sessions and trying to help her understand. And her Kundalini awakening was different from many people's. So this was, no, maybe not so different, but this was basically hearing voices and speaking to spirit. But, of course, the mainstream medicines say that you're going crazy. Because they have no understanding of that. They've never been taught that. They don't open a book and read page 12. This is about the voices, actually the voices of the spirit world, because Kundalini, your energy's opened up to hearing. So no, they don't have a book like that. So they have no clue to that. So then the only thing they can do is douse you with drugs to numb you or to try and stop everything, just so you're walking zombie. So the first thing I do is prepare. In fact, I'm not even talking about this. It doesn't matter what I did. Let's just say that the amount of people who came to me with this awakening wasn't only just because of yoga, but it was sometimes a natural phenomena. Because sometimes if you're extremely sensitive, something can happen to the physical body. And there are so many reasons why is it your child can hear spirit and feel spirit and nobody else can, because they're very, very sensitive. And sensitives, it can happen in many different ways. You're going to laugh at this because the mainstream use everything against what the spiritual world is trying to share. So I'll give you for instance. Mainstream psychology says that if you wake up in the middle of the night frightened and scared, it's because you're probably being abused by one or more of your family, or your father or your mother, and that's why you wake up and screaming, thinking that you've seen something in the room and felt something in the room. Very clever how they do that. That's purposely done. No, basically what happens is that if you are abused, if you do go through a shock energy, that can also open your Kundalini as, let's say, a protection, because Kundalini is actually a very powerful energy if you know how to use it and know how to work with it and understand it. So yeah, a lot of children go through some kind of shock. It could be being bullied at school, it could be anything. But yes, it can happen. You can have an awakening of Kundalini, of that energy, that then takes you to another level of vibration frequency. So then your senses become more heightened, aware. You feel things, you see things, you smell things, you understand things that nobody else does. So, and it's very frustrating. It's very frustrating because at the very beginning, a lot of my clients who came to me were exhausted. Their mothers were exhausted because they didn't know what to do with their children. And again, I'm not going into how I help them, but let's just say giving reassurance to your children that everything is okay and this is a normal state is a very powerful way of healing, okay? Because when you are in fear of something that you don't understand and nobody else understands, then you heighten that fear and everything becomes negative. When you help that child say, no, this is very beautiful, this is very normal, and this is very powerful, and let's work with it and let's go with this, and eventually it dispels. And like I said, my dear friend, does not hear voices anymore now, because she's learned to understand it and work with it, and then eventually it just dies away or disappears. So it's very interesting. But you, after listening to this, you would say to yourself, I don't want an awakening. No, because the shock awakening is because you've not been prepared for it. But Kundalini energy is a beautiful energy. It's life. It's everything that is. It's every movement. Everything is Kundalini. It's just that sometimes when we've got this spacesuit and we've been programmed, then it's a shock energy when something like the Kundalini energy starts to awaken within us. There are many different forms of awakening Kundalini, but my first mentor tried to help me awaken my Kundalini, and I says, why? I don't need it. I'm okay. And she's, no, Sat Nam, Sat Nam. That's why you see the Buddhists and many other religions swaying back and forth, because it awakens the Kundalini. But there's so many other things. I could go into detail of this. Not important. What's important is, I think all of these things come to us at the right moment. So that just kills everything that I've just said. It just rips it apart, right? Well, it does really, doesn't it? If you think about it, if everything's as it should be, then maybe, just maybe, that is your challenge and test that you need to go through. And it's a beautiful one. It's a powerful one. I see challenges, which are the most awful challenges in the world, as, wow, you must be a very strong spirit. And because it's within your life now, then there's something in this, and you never really truly understand till later. Now, if I brought my friend here and sat her down and says, come on then, let's talk about this. Remember when it first happened to you? Remember when you thought you were going crazy? Remember when you just didn't know what to do? How do you feel now? She would probably say, and I'm only guessing, she'd probably say it was an amazing adventure, it was a scary adventure, but it's made me who I am, and I'm able to help people now more than ever. See, my understanding of any kind of shock that happens to us in our life, any kind of abuse, any kind of awakening, any kind of near-death experience, whatever it may be, you attacked by spirit, trapped in between two worlds. We have for me, I had 2 or 3 times a spirit enter into me and these things aren't fun, right? But they're an experience. And when the cleansing happened to me and that spirit left me, I sat down and said, never again, I'm not doing this no more. And Shirley, she's up on my wall there, she's passed into the light, she's here with us all the time. Shirley said, Mark, without this experience, how are you to ever help anybody else going through the same thing? Yeah, I get it. It's not nice, but I get it. So I guess ultimately, if you do experience it and it is a shock energy, it's vital that you find somebody to help you along the path as a healer who knows exactly what they're doing. People who are experienced in their job, I would say at least 10 years experience. And through that, then they can guide you through it and you'll feel safe. And, nothing really affects us. Nothing really affected me when people came in screaming and all that. It was like, it's okay, lie down, it's all right. Big smile on my face, because we've been through it all. We've seen it all. We've gone through all of this. We've had thousands of clients, screaming and flying around and all that kind of stuff. So it doesn't really, none of that kind of bothers true healers, because we know exactly what it is. It's simply energy, and energy needs to be understood. It needs to be accepted. It needs to be respected and admired in so many ways. I respect energy, bad or good, positive or negative, heavy or light. It doesn't matter. I respect it all because it all has its place in this divine universe of yin and yang. Yeah. I think I'm going to keep it at that. I think this is enough. I think 15 minutes is plenty to get you thinking about it, and maybe there might be some more questions underneath here, and I'll go on to part 2 at some point. But I hope this little video serves you well, and yeah. I guess Tectite would be a perfect crystal to wear when you're going through this kind of energy. You want something that absorbs negative energy of the fear and the worry and brings balance back into your own energy. So a Tektite would be a great crystal to wear. It all seems to be Tektite at the moment. I don't know why. I mean, I've got hundreds of different crystals that I'm ready to upload, but Tektite just seems to be coming up. And some, like I did meditation last night. I'm wearing at the moment rose quartz, but Tektite came up last night, the day before, and the day before that. Lots of amazing messages on Tektite at the moment. There was a message put up just 5 minutes ago, and I answered it, saying that they felt my description was misleading or misguiding, and it's not true. Look, these are my thoughts. These are my feelings. I've been a healer for 20 years, okay? I've healed thousands of people, one-to-ones for 1 hour, 1 hour and a half. You can't take that away from me by just saying it isn't real, it's not correct. Yes, all other crystals do help clear negativity away. Many of them do. But there is only one, in my humble opinion, and many others that will confirm this, who are extremely powerful healers who have come and watched the energy of Tektite being absorbed and said, wow, amazing. In fact, I even had a child about, I think she was about 9 years old, who actually witnessed the same thing in the room when we were all there, saying, why is that cloud going into the crystal, which was the Tektite. So, you know, it's been observed by many healers and many children who see energy. If you don't see it, it's very difficult when you regurgitate information or you just feel something. I would absolutely have agreed with you and said, yes, smoky quartz, tourmalines are fantastic for clearing negative energy. And that's why I say clearing and absorbing are two different things. So most crystals clear by way of energy frequency, so they blast the energy away and they clear it. But the only crystal that I've ever worked with that I've seen negative energy go into, being absorbed like a vacuum cleaner, is Tektite. So you're right, okay? There is no wrong, but by pointing out to people that they're wrong, maybe we need to just stop a little bit and say, well, you know, this is my experience, not saying this is wrong. This is my experience. And that way, you know, you get more people who interact, and you get more friends that way, instead of losing them and thinking that you might be a bit obnoxious and you think you know everything. I don't know everything. In fact, the more I learn, the less I know. But there's one thing I do know. Tektite is the most powerful crystal that absorbs negative energy, and I haven't witnessed that from any other crystal in the world. That is my truth. I have practiced over 10,000 hours of doing healing sessions. So there you go. That's my truth. Have a great day, guys. Link below. I guess I shall link the one crystal that I believe is good right now, and that's Tektite, for anybody who's struggling with Kundalini Awakening, and that it's a little bit challenging right now. Have a great day.